In the scriptural justice system, the highest of the high, the Most High, Yah, is the judge and jury, and the seed of Israel are his children. These are their stories. Part 3. The Iberian Catastrophe, 1200 to 1600 CE. How forced baptism, racial laws and inquisitions turned an entire population into new Christians, masking centuries of earlier Hebraic lineage. Background: Iberia as a crossroads. Setting from the 700s through the 1200s, the Iberian Peninsula, modern Spain plus Portugal, contained three major cultural zones: realm, faith, languages. Notes: Muslim al-Andalus, Islam, Arabic, Hebrew, Romance dialects. Religious minorities paid tax but could worship. Christian kingdoms: Castile, Aragon, Navarre, Portugal. Latin Christianity, Latin, early Spanish, Portuguese. Reconquest campaigns reclaimed land from Muslims. African and Hebraic communities: Mosaic faith, Afro-Asiatic roots. Hebrew, Arabic, Berber, Romance. Merchants, scholars, translators, physicians. When Christian forces retook territory in the 1100s, 1200s, they inherited large Hebrew and Muslim populations, many of African or Afro-Asiatic descent who had moved through North Africa into Iberia centuries earlier. Legal pressure builds, 13th, 14th centuries. 1215 CE, Fourth Lateran Council, Pope Innocent III, required non-Christians in Christian lands to wear distinctive badges and banned them from public office. Source: Canon 68, Lateran Fourth Acts. 1348, Black Death riots, violence spreads through Castile and Aragon, Hebrew quarters burned. 1391, Seville massacres, mobs attack Israelite communities across Andalusia, thousands killed or baptized under duress, Chronicle of Pero López de Ayala. This period seeds the idea that baptism, even forced, makes a convert a Christian subject forever, laying groundwork for later inquisitions. Hasha 3, Purity of Blood Statutes, 15th century. 1449, Toledo Statute of Limpieza de Sangre, first law distinguishing old Christians from new Christians, the latter defined as people with Hebrew or Muslim ancestry, even if baptized. Archivo Municipal de Toledo, Ordenanzas 1449. Effects: barred new Christians from church offices, guilds, universities, made ancestry a legal category, turned religious difference into racial difference. These racialized codes migrated into colonial America later as the casta system. Fourth, expulsion and forced baptism. 1492, Edict of Expulsion, Edict of Granada. Ferdinand and Isabella order all Hebrews to leave Castile and Aragon within 4 months or accept baptism. Royal Decree, 31st of March 1492, Archivo de Simancas. 1497, Portugal under King Manuel I prohibits emigration and orders mass baptism instead. Children are separated from parents and baptized publicly in Lisbon. A de Azevedo, Documentos sobre Expulsão dos Judeus de Portugal, 1917. After these dates, there are no legally recognized Israelites in Iberia, only new Christians with Iberian names. The name change system. How it worked. 1. Baptism required a Christian first name, often from the sponsor, godfather. 2. Families adopted surnames of patrons, cities, or trades, before, after. Pattern. Pant. Moshe ben Levi, Diogo Mendes, patron name, Rivka bat Yaakov, Maria Henriques, sponsor name, Yehuda Toledano, Juan Toledano, geographic, Shlomo ben Shalom, Francisco Salomon phonetic. Parish records preserve only the after names. Inquisitorial confessions occasionally mention the before ones. 6. Creation of the Spanish Inquisition, 1478. Authorized by Pope Sixtus IV, requested by Ferdinand and Isabella. Purpose, official, detect heresy among baptized Christians. Actual focus, people of Hebrew descent suspected of secretly keeping Mosaic law. Process: 1. Secret denunciation, arrest. 2. Interrogation, often under torture. 3. Confiscation of property. 4. Public sentencing, auto de fe. Primary source, Archivo Histórico Nacional, Inquisition Section, Madrid. Scale: over 100,000 cases recorded between 1480 and 1600, 3,000 to 5,000 executions. Canon, The Spanish Inquisition, Yale 1997. Number 7. Portuguese Inquisition, 1536 onward. Authorized by Pope Paul III after decades of royal petitions. focused mainly on new Christians of Hebrew nation. Headquarters in Lisbon, Évora, Coimbra. Confiscation laws identical to Spain's. Torre do Tombo, Inquisição series. Thousands of families fled to North Africa, Italy, the Ottoman Empire, and later to Brazil and Mexico. Hajrate, export to the colonies, tribunal, dates, jurisdiction, typical case. Mexico City, 1569 to 1821. New Spain, Mexico and Central America. New Christians keeping Sabbath dietary laws. Lima, 1570 to 1820. Peru, Andes. Similar cases plus indigenous heresy. Cartagena de Indias, 1610 to 1821, Caribbean, Northern South America, African and Iberian merchants accused of Judaizing. Bahia, Pernambuco, Brazil, 1591 to 1774, visitation courts. Portuguese colonies, sugar mill owners of Hebrew descent. Archives, AGN Mexico Inquisition series, Archivo General de Indias Civil, Torre do Tombo, Lisbon. These tribunals show the same families moving west under Iberian names. Luis de Carvalho, Mendes, Henriquez, Dias, still accused of Mosaic practices generations later. 9. Economic and social impact confiscation decrees made the Inquisition self-funding. Proceeds from seized property were divided between Crown and Church. This created a permanent financial incentive to accuse wealthy new Christians. H.C. Lee, A History of the Inquisition of Spain, Vol. 3. The result? Redistribution of wealth from Hebraic-descended families to royal coffers and religious orders. Outcome by 1600. By the turn of the 17th century, most openly practicing Israelites had left Iberia. Those remaining lived as new Christians, old Christians, or fled westward. Their bloodlines, many of African appearance from generations in North Africa, entered the Americas under Spanish and Portuguese names. That is, the population later misread as Iberian settlers, but in fact descended from the scattered Hebrew nation. Primary references for verification. 1. Henry Charles Lee, A History of the Inquisition of Spain, 1906-07. 2. José Toribio Medina, Historia del Tribunal del Santo Oficio de Mexico, 1905. 3. Antonio José Saraiva, The Murano Factory, Brill, 2001 trans. 4. Anita Novinsky, Inquisición, Cristãos Novos na Sociedade Colonial, São Paulo, 1992. 5. Jonathan Israel, Diasporas Within a Diaspora, Brill, 2002. 6. Royal Edicts in Arquivo de Simancas and Torre do Tombo. End of Part 3. Welcome to Yah and Order.
I'm just flying high on my horse. I live by peace while you incite wars. I just mind my business, While you just in your feelings,